Hi, and welcome to another episode of Crack the Boulder. What are we talking about today, Marek?
I think about elbow, the second elbow, which is the tennis elbow.
Yes, we did a few episodes on golfer's elbow, and today's episode will be on the corresponding injury, which is the tennis elbow. Tennis elbow is an inflammation of this tendon here, which joins the elbow extensor with the wrist extensor muscle. And this is the corresponding tendon, which is responsible for golfer's elbow. It's characterized by pinpoint pain here, roughly where this muscle ends, on top of the elbow. And the first thing we'd like to say, as ever, is if you think you might have tennis elbow, please go and seek medical advice. If you have a physio, go to your physio. It's really good also if your physio is a climber, because then they're going to know what kind of stress you've got to put your elbows under once they're healthy. So, what doesn't tennis elbow like? It doesn't like pinches. It doesn't like gastons. It doesn't like crimps. And it really doesn't like underclings. The tennis elbow can be caused partly by poor climbing technique. What this means is, for example, you're not putting enough force through your feet when you're climbing, and then most of the strain goes on your upper body. It can be caused by weak abdominal muscles, where you're doing that move in the overhang and your legs fly out. Does that sound familiar? And then what happens is your upper body, especially your elbows, will take most of that strain. But it can also be caused by other underlying injuries, such as, for example, tender shoulders. Now, we did an episode on shoulder conditioning with the TheraBand, so have a look at that, because all those exercises that we showed with the TheraBand are also great for helping relieve the stress and the pain of tennis elbow. As ever, there's a lot of media out there on tennis elbow, and once again, one of the best things I saw was definitely the episode that Lattice Training did, how to deal with elbow injuries. And we also placed a link to that. We did.
I think so.
Down below. So now we're going to go off to the other side of the gym, and I'm going to show you a few exercises which you can do to help relieve the pain and help the healing process of tennis elbow to begin. So, assuming you've had to take a break from your climbing due to your tennis elbow injury, here are a few things you can do to help condition those muscles and rebuild that tissue. The first exercise I'm going to show you is basically extending the wrist. And what's important here is that my whole forearm is on the table, and I'll have my arm bent at the elbow. And I'll just flex my wrist up and down in a controlled fashion, slowly, and I can really feel the muscles being used here. What I do at the beginning is I'd start with a very light weight, 1 kilogram. This one's 2, assuming I've already had the injury for a while and I know my muscles can take it. And I'll start with 3 sets of 10 reps. And as I progress, maybe after about a month or 2, I'll raise that up to 20 reps. 3 sets, 20 reps. The next exercise I like doing for tennis elbow is this exercise, where you're pulling down on the muscle and pulling this weight back up again. Very gently and slowly. And this really engages all your soft tissues on the top of your arm. And what I do here is I'll push it back up, just not to put extra strain on that muscle. Once again, I'll do 3 sets of 10 reps, and I'll bump that up to 20 once I think my muscle is ready. Nice, slow, and controlled. And you can also increase the weight here as time goes by. And finally, I saw this last exercise in a YouTube video, and I thought it was really handy just for getting into those painful bits and nooks. The only problem with pressing down here on the ball is it does sometimes just get away from you. So really good to invest in one of these rollers and just do the same thing. And you sometimes have to really get up and bend your arm round to get into the painful bits, which are on top of your elbow. Now, what most climbing injuries, including the golfer's and tennis elbow, really don't like is the pump. What happens here is when your forearms are pumped, those soft tissues are really extended, and they're being really stressed. which is really difficult when they're trying to rebuild. But obviously, as you increase the intensity of your climbing, you're going to be suffering from pumped forearms, as most of us climbers do. So a really good thing to do after the initial pump has gone down, so you're looking maybe about 20 minutes after your climbing session, is to get one of these rollers and just roll out the pump. And you'll do this for about 2 or 3 minutes, here at the bottom of your forearm and round at the top. Just to get rid of the pump. And once you've done that and you can really feel that your forearm is now softer, you can start stretching. And these are some of the stretches you want to do with tennis elbow. So you want to stretch out the forearm here, and you can hold this for about 10 or 15 seconds. This is a great stretch for golfer's elbow as well. 10, 15 seconds. Make sure you engage your elbow. And I'll do this for both arms. In fact, I'll do all the exercises for both arms just to avoid that injury occurring in your healthy elbow. Right. Now, the key to successful healing of tennis elbow, once you do start climbing, once the initial pain is gone and you've gone to seek medical advice and you're under the care of hopefully a physio who's also a climber, is to climb with low intensity and high volume. And this will progress as your tennis elbow hurts less and less, and you'll want to add more intensity. And you want to start pinching a little bit and maybe crimping a little bit, which is fine, but you've got to monitor your pain and do this slowly. So the best thing you can do is set up a notebook, write down a pain radar and try and monitor that pain. Don't push it too far, see how that goes. You're going to want to load that elbow gradually more and more as your physio progresses and as your climbing progresses. So make sure you have the pain radar at the ready so that you don't overload it too much. And this, I'm afraid, is very, very, very individual. So I can't say to you, after 3 months, you'll be climbing 45-degree overhangs, and after 6 months, you'll be back to your full 7A or 7B or whatever level you have, because it is very individual and it does depend on how your particular tissues deal with this injury.
I would even say, recommend that just enjoy climbing even more, but climbing itself, not the number.
Yes, not the grade. Great, thanks very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please click that like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.